Welcome to Love Being American, where you can catch up on the major events and political issues that are happening around the country. Now introducing two millennials who love being American. Your hosts, Andrew and Henry.
Hello, how's it going?
All right. Who's ready to kick off episode number 7?
It's a great time to be alive.
And to be an American.
Welcome to 2016. This is our first episode of 2016. We're recording it the day before New Year's Eve, but when you listen to it, it'll be 2016. So what's up from the past?
We're going to do, for this particular episode, a recap.
Yeah, so basically, the State Department, the U.S. State Department, published a blog post, and it was titled The Year in Review, Pivotal Foreign Policy Moments of 2015, where they basically outlined their 8 biggest accomplishments? 9?
Their 9 biggest accomplishments for the year, what they thought were the most pivotal moments of 2015.
So we're going to go
This
over...
is basically what they did for their job.
Yeah.
What they accomplished as their duties of the State Department.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go over this document. We're going to go through each one and give you our thoughts and opinions. You know, kind of a fun episode today because it's really interesting, some of the things that they put on here, to say the least. But before we get started, as always, we're drinking some beer.
And the beer that Andrew gave to me would be this, it's an amber ale brewed by, it's called Taproom 21. Taproom number 21. And it is delicious. Andrew knows I love ambers, and this particular amber has honey in it. So, and it's not too sweet, but sweet enough that the sweetness you want from an amber bite of a good quality beer. Highly recommend it. Andrew, what did I give you?
I have so Henry bought me a Racer 5 IPA, and this is actually my favorite IPA. It's like my go-to if I'm going to drink a heavier beer. Yeah, if we're at a bar and they have Racer 5, I usually get it.
Done deal.
Yeah, it's got a stronger alcohol content, so that's kind of why I like it, and it tastes really good. I recommend that beer to anyone who hasn't tried it before. So go out and grab a Racer 5 IPA if you haven't, because it's a really good beer.
And the Taproom 21, the only place I've actually ever seen it, I've actually wanted to try it for a while. Andrew was kind enough to remember that for me. And the only place I ever found it was Ralph's.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it before. Just wondered. I'm like, oh, it kind of has a cool box.
Yeah, Ralph's always carries that.
I've never seen it anywhere else.
Shout out to Ralph's.
What up?
All right, so before further ado, let's jump into this. I just kind of want to set the stage here that there are probably like at least 15 people sitting around a table brainstorming their accomplishments to write this document to come out.
Like,
I mean,
the people who run
the State Department had a pivotal job. I mean, maybe they put some interns on this. Actually, once we get into this, it might make sense if they put the interns on this. But yeah, they had to actually sit around and brainstorm and think of ideas to,
This is like their top 10. I mean, the State Department does a lot during the year. And in the course of the 365 days, they've broken down the 10 things that they did. They feel that they were able to succeed at. And I want to start off with number 1. The number 1 was reestablishing diplomatic relations with Cuba. And as we know, we've had a blockade with Cuba for about 5 decades. And Senator John Kerry was just killing it. And what he was able to accomplish was setting up an embassy in Cuba, and Cuba setting up an embassy in Washington, D.C. Now, for those of you that don't know, and a lot of people I know think that this means that, oh, we can just fly into Cuba. You get a flight from Miami. It's not exactly the case. You are only able to fly into Cuba via the United States if you have a special visa. And this special visa essentially is saying that you are contributing to, you're basically Americanizing.
So still after this, I can't go to Cuba tomorrow if I want to.
Absolutely not. You are not allowed to go to Cuba unless you are a journalist, you're spreading Christianity or some other religion.
But what about the embargo? Has the embargo been lifted?
No.
So the
there are no
embargo's
cigars,
still there.
no cigars.
I still can't get my Cuban cigar legally.
A Cuban can't come over here and play baseball.
Oh, man.
So we can't go over there and play baseball.
What if I want to ship them baseballs? I don't think I can ship them baseballs
Actually,
either.
I believe if that is contributing to the Cuban people by influencing them with American culture, you'd have to get the proper documentation. I don't know how long it's a process, but basically you have to show that you are helping out the people of Cuba by basically indoctrinating them with American culture.
Interesting.
And then if you get approved, you can fly in a flight from Miami.
So what do you think about what do you think about us potentially opening up, having more communication with Cuba? You think it's a good thing for the United States, or you think it's a bad thing?
I honestly don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah,
what are we worried about from Cuba? The only thing they're smuggling over here is cigars and baseball players.
Well, I think it's more the fact of having communism so close to our shores is what makes people nervous.
Oh, because I don't know how many people are in Havana or the rest of Cuba, but I believe that I'm sure Delaware has more people in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Than all of Cuba combined. And if we are that weak as a country where little tiny Cuba is able to bring a communist ideology influx into the country and start a new groundbreaking war with communism, I think we have bigger problems.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. 54 years, Castro brothers are still in power. It just seems that the only people that's really hurting are the Cuban people. I think this potentially has it could be good for the Cuban people. So, I think this is a decent accomplishment because
I don't know how good this could be for the Cuban people.
Here's my reasoning. If somehow this gives them internet access and open internet to the free world, they can then begin to see how oppressed they are. I'm sure most of them already know, but they can then, start to educate themselves. And I think it opens the borders to them to, eventually maybe have their own uprising against their government. So I think the sooner they can get more free internet access, the sooner they can educate themselves and see what's happening in their country isn't right, the sooner that they can maybe have a revolution to overthrow their government and get something good in.
Well, how do we know it's not lovely to live there?
It doesn't look very lovely.
Well, how do you know? Have you ever seen inside of Cuba?
I've seen pictures.
You've seen pictures?
I don't think most of our listeners nor either of us have been to Cuba.
I exactly my point. So we can't. I think it would be kind of hard to judge their lifestyle. Like maybe
I think most of the people in Cuba live in depression, so I think that's pretty easy to judge their lifestyle.
I don't personally know. I know the cost of living there is significantly lower.
Yeah.
They probably have less money.
I think it's not pretty close to being a third world country.
I have no idea one way or another, but we've never been there, so it's hard to say because we've been completely blockaded.
I don't know. From the stuff I've read, I feel like they're not happy under the Cuban regime, and that when this deal passed, they were all ecstatic because they thought it was going to improve their life. So I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
All right. So the next one, and this is a great one too. This is winning the fight against violent extremism. So
keyword winning.
Yeah. So apparently the State Department thinks that they're winning the war on terror, despite the fact that Paris just had its largest attack.
I believe like all this stuff just happened in the past month.
Yeah, just like 2 months. So
it's only gotten worse in the tail end of the year.
Yeah.
We had the Paris, this like 6 simultaneous attacks. We had the San Bernardino shootings.
Yeah, so we had the biggest terrorist attack in the United States since 9/11, and the biggest attack in Paris since World War II. But somehow we're winning the fight against violent extremism. Now, I know we said in past episodes that, we personally don't think it's something you have to worry about day to day, but I certainly wouldn't say that we're winning. Winning would be no terrorist attacks at all. Or
a significant drop in the amount that are happening.
Yeah, not all of a sudden we just had huge ones.
This is just... the guy they actually found one of the attackers in the Paris. They found him in Syria. So he's there. To say that we're winning and that we're doing better in this war, if those Paris attacks happened at the beginning of the year, if the San Bernardino happened earlier, and we haven't had anything since, maybe.
Yeah, and And so under each of these titles, their accomplishments, they have a paragraph describing it. And the best one in this paragraph, it says, in February, the White House hosted a summit on countering violent extremism to bring together foreign leaders and senior officials from the United Nations and other international organizations. So great job. You held a summit. Like, what the hell?
They talked about what they're going to do to combat. That was...
I mean, if they're going to write something in this section, why don't you talk about all the ISIS leaders you've killed in drone strikes, which we've killed a lot. But, like, you're saying that in this paragraph, the winning against violent extremism isn't due to the...
Like, do people only read titles now and just take the titles? I mean, if you just read that title, winning fight against violent extremists, okay, yeah, sure, and didn't read that paragraph, you read that paragraph, nothing was accomplished.
Yeah, it makes
their
less
justification
of a sense.
is worse.
I could justify that better.
Absolutely.
So yeah, holding a summit doesn't do shit. Sorry. Wait.
The forward progress will only continue. So there's even a question of them continuing this winning campaign.
Oh,
because winning is an improper term. If we're trying to continue this forward progress, that's not winning.
Well, I think part of this is because Charlie Sheen actually hosted the summit. And that's why it's winning. That's my guess right here. But I mean, again,
after he announces HIV/AIDS.
Yeah. So blows my mind that they're saying they're winning because they hosted a stupid summit, whereas winning versus maybe they've killed a bunch of terrorists in drone strikes and the Iraqi army just
so that's like Ramadi. When the Patriots going back and saying, yeah, when we went 16-0 that season, we were winning. Ask Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, did they win that season? They will tell you no, because they didn't win a ring.
Yeah, so all right, I don't know. Okay.
Let's go on to the next one.
All right,
what do we have next?
You got the next one.
Protecting Arctic climate and communities. First of all, how many communities are in the Arctic?
I was literally just thinking that. How many people actually live in the Arctic?
So, I guess Secretary John Kerry.
Again, John Kerry
traveled to Iqaluit, Canada. And he did this back in April. So again,
not knowing to be able to pronounce the names of half the Canadian cities in French. So funny. Oh my god.
So this is what he did. He formally assumed 2-year chairmanship of the Arctic Council from his Canadian predecessor and announced that the council would focus. So again,
another conference
talking about what we could do to improve this Arctic climate in the communities of the Arctic climate.
So we hosted another conference and we think it went really, really well.
And we talked about improving I'm not John Kerry. He's not me. John Kerry talked about a few things. The impacts of climate change, promoting Arctic ocean safety, security and stewardship, and improving economic and living conditions for Arctic communities.
Man, this is just stupid.
Wait.
I don't get how hosting a stupid conference.
No, and talking about improving. Okay, there's nothing. This is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
An accomplishment, a year in recap. What the State Department did. They didn't protect Arctic climate and communities. They talked about how we could do it.
Yeah.
What is the possibility?
It's so stupid because you and me could host a meetup and talk about this exact same thing.
You want to start end world hunger?
No.
You want to end world hunger?
Yeah, I'll end world hunger.
We're going to end world hunger right now.
We're going to start a meetup to end world hunger.
Yeah. Everybody in the United States, you give some food, and we're going to ship it to Africa and everybody in need. Boom. That's our accomplishment.
All right, and we should make the State Department list next year. So, I mean, I don't know why all of a sudden hosting things that don't really accomplish anything. I mean, this is literally if we wanted to host a meetup, just like a leader saying, hey, let's host a meetup. And then calling it an accomplishment. It's total bullshit. All right, next one. I got to take this one. This is one of my favorite on here. Iran peacefully nuclear program ensured. Iran peacefully nuclear program ensured. That is a horrible title. It doesn't even read right.
Peaceful nuclear program ensured.
All right, so the Iranian nuclear talks, were basically officialized or made finalized in July of 2015. And since then, it's gone, oh my God, it's accomplished so much. It's gone over so well. Let me recap how well this has gone. One of the agreements in the nuclear deal was that, I mean, let's just set aside that the nuclear deal was full of shit that I don't agree with, and it really bugs me. But let's just see how, I mean, I can't believe how well Iran's actually followed the terms in that deal and really stuck with it. So they test fired a ballistic missile that violated the deal. They just shot yesterday
within 1,500 yards.
Yeah, they shot a missile of 1,500 yards of one of our aircraft carriers. That clearly violated the deal. And then a week after this deal was signed, a high-ranking Iranian official went to meet with Putin to discuss arms trades, which this guy in the deal was banned from visiting Russia. So that worked out well. And what have we done to punish Iran for this? Nothing, because
we're going to be lifting sanctions.
Negotiations bullshit. Yeah, we're lifting sanctions, giving them all this money, and then they're breaking the rules, and we're not punishing them.
They're still using those reactors. They've had incidents where they're like, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to use these certain reactors, and
yeah, because they don't take us seriously. We should. The second that guy went to Russia, we said, "Oh, nice, deal off," and then kept the sanctions.
Put the sanctions on. I mean, what do we have to? I don't know. What do we have to gain by? What do we have to gain by lifting these sanctions? I don't know what benefit serves our people or the interest of the world
or allies like Israel.
What do we have to benefit by lifting these sanctions? If I've never heard that clear cut what this is doing for us, I've only heard other than ensuring peace, that Iran's not going to possibly. I mean, regardless, even if whether they're going to make a nuclear weapon or not, I don't know. I'm not Iran, okay, but I can't say. But I don't know what this does for anybody else other than Iran.
Yeah, it just benefits them. I don't know how it benefits us. I mean, American companies get to go sell products there. I don't know.
I don't think that there's not. I mean, Israel doesn't even agree with it, and this is probably the main reason why we're trying to make their deal.
And this is Israel's biggest threat to their safety and security.
Though that is our foremost ally, and we are deciding
we could literally have a whole talk about this nuclear deal and how just
to let you know, it's ensured. The peaceful Iranian nuclear program, or the Iran peaceful nuclear program,
it's actually going on, but we're just not going to enforce it, and neither will Iran. So, congratulations.
And for the next accomplishment of the State Department, we have the stemming tide of Ebola outbreak. I guess August 2015 marked the 1-year anniversary of the United States government robust response to the Ebola crisis. So this wasn't even accomplished in 2015.
Yeah,
that's the 1-year anniversary. Yeah, this started in 2014.
Yeah, they're really pushing this together. One of our accomplishments was the 1-year anniversary of an accomplishment. Oh my God!
So the
I feel like we did this well.
The unprecedented effort that has helped turn the tide of an unprecedented outbreak. So we sent more than 3,000 people, aid professionals, public health specialists, soldiers, logisticians, and USAID's disaster assistance response teams to Liberia. That's what we did. I guess they continued to work on the crisis, and so the Ebola outbreak, I'm not sure.
No one in America died from it, so I'll say props. I don't think anyone here died. So,
but does that? I mean, either we really did a good job and
that's why
curbed it, yeah, or it was never a threat to begin with. I mean, I know there was a couple people that did get it, but they didn't die. I mean, how many? Let's think about this, okay? I mean, put this in perspective. We have a higher chance of dying from a terrorist attack. We discussed the terrorist attack, the likelihood of dying from a terrorist attack in the United States. 1 in 20 million. Not one person died from an Ebola.
Well, it could have been because they controlled it so well.
That's true. Either they controlled it that well, or it was never a threat to begin with. And regardless of it, that threat was figured out by 2014.
Yeah.
So maybe this just got lost in translation and we're just a year behind.
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird that's even on here. The next topic is committing, or the next accomplishment, I should say, committing to ambitious development goals. Oh my God. So they're literally awarding themselves a medal for making a list of ambitious goals. Are you serious?
Wait, is this right? Is this the list? Is this the ambitious development goals that they accomplished? Compiling this list was an accomplishment of the year 2015.
Seriously. So they're saying that UN member nations came together to adopt an ambitious set of global goals that seek to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity at all. So that in itself was an accomplishment.
We had a meeting.
Oh my God.
We had a meeting of what we could do to improve the world. We talked about what we've been talking about for thousands of years. End poverty, protect the planet, ensure prosperity to all. Pretty sure that's like in the Constitution.
I mean, they're literally giving themselves medals for holding meetings. This is the stupidest thing this whole document is so stupid to begin with. None of these are actual accomplishments. They're holding meetings to talk about things that they should be accomplishing.
What did they do? They're talking about accomplishing things. If I'm sure everybody will ever listen to this podcast has talked about doing things. And if that was all you had to do to accomplish a goal, I mean, we'd all be probably incredibly successful. We probably wouldn't be talking about this on a podcast. We'd be gazillionaires.
Oh my God. We're going to go through after this. We're done talking about all of them, and we're going to count up how many of these could actually be considered like actual accomplishments, not just frickin' meetings. So this one is obviously just, again, this is bullshit.
Like, we're not even discuss this further.
So this next one, go ahead, take it, Henry.
The next accomplishment of 2015 was the open door to free trade, and this is specifically the TPP agreement, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And this was an agreement that basically it was a historic free trade agreement that links 12 countries in the Asia Pacific Rim. It sets high agreements for standards on labor, the environment, and intellectual property. It will also serve to deepen our partnership throughout the Asia Pacific region. A message Secretary John Kerry reinforced when he said, "With today's successful conclusion of the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations, the United States and 11 other nations have taken a critical step forward in strengthening our economic ties and deepening our strategic relationships in the Asia Pacific region." So I'm going to say this was an accomplishment. This is something that was actually done and signed.
Yeah.
However,
it's highly controversial.
The actual amount of the document talking about free trade and intellectual property, standards on labor is very, very marginal. Most of it has to do with what am I thinking of?
I honestly don't know. I just know it's highly controversial. I'm not really well versed in this one, to be honest.
I'm not well versed either.
It doesn't. I know that it doesn't tackle the tough problems that this thing should have tackled, right?
The key parts the labor, the environment, intellectual property is not really what it discusses. If I don't know how many pages, only a very small amount of that document focus on it. The rest of it has to do with like NSA stuff, with monitoring in our countries and their countries through the internet and telecommunications.
More government BS that doesn't have. I mean, what? We're gonna limit spying? Is that what?
No, it's gonna increase spying.
Oh, that's great.
It's gonna allow, I think, more effective communications between us and these countries for security reasons. Go more monitoring of our people and theirs.
Interesting.
So I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that could kind of be considered an accomplishment.
So. They did something at least.
Yeah. So the next one is our second ocean conference, protecting the health of our ocean. Again, another damn conference.
Another committee.
I can't believe this. Anyways, a bunch of nations got together to discuss
The
ocean
Chilean
monitoring.
government hosted.
The Chilean government hosted it. Lawmakers, individual experts, practitioners, international, foreign, ocean, and policy committees came together to talk about ocean monitoring, stopping illegal fishing, and climate change. That's. I mean, God, I can't even believe they put this
Secretary
on here.
Kerry. Use
God, John Kerry.
John Kerry.
All right, man.
Oh my gosh.
You've been to a lot of meetings this year.
This is... I mean, this guy's the committee king.
Yeah.
We
know what we're paying him for.
Right? He has done so much talking.
Yeah.
Good gosh. This guy has set up so many committees and meetings. I mean, I wonder what you look back in history, in the history books, what about Senator John Kerry? This guy can talk.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a war hero, apparently. And now he's...
Debatable. Anyways. All right, next one. So we already talked about this, but when we hosted the episode, this is about the COP21 climate change conference. So after our episode, we were talking about how we didn't think they were going to come to an agreement or anything. Well, they actually ended up, after how many damn years, signing something, right?
Since 93.
Yeah, so they finally signed a document, and their document was to limit global warming by 2 degrees Celsius. Like, that's the cap. They're only going to let the world warm up 2 more degrees Celsius. So just to set this stage for you, I personally believe, and if you look at science, the world goes through stages. It gets really hot, it gets really cold, it goes up and down.
There was
right?
an ice age before.
Yeah. So these world leaders think that they're so powerful, they could actually prevent the Earth from heating up. Like, newsflash, if the world's going to warm up or if the world's going to cool down, it's going to do whatever the hell it wants to do. It's not going to
contribute.
Yeah.
But if it's already doing it, it's going to go through the cycle and it's going to increase in heat until Mother Nature is ready to cool it down.
That's how, like, these guys think so
They
full of
really
themselves that they really
that-
think that they're that powerful.
They are that smart, that intelligent, where they're going to override the planet and say, you know what, planet, we're done with you. We're done with this increase in temperature. We're gonna stop it ourselves. Man is going to end this.
And again, this is another meeting, and it just sets ambitious goals. It doesn't really hold anyone accountable.
Are you going to hold China? I mean, China's not going to do anything till 2030.
Developing countries don't even so China and India, and Pakistan, the worst polluters, don't really have to follow any of these, because it basically, the agreement says that they're not going to hold developing countries to any standards that could limit their economic growth. So really, I mean, it's, again, nothing. Doesn't accomplish anything.
Strongest
Won't stop
climate agreement
change.
ever negotiated. There
Again,
has
just an
never
agreement.
ever been an agreement negotiated. So by definition, if any agreement signed was going to be the strongest, but it doesn't. There's no accountability to it.
Yeah, it's, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. All right, Henry, take the next one.
So
this is great. This is the creme of the creme.
So usually we do the schmuck of the week. We're doing the schmuck of the year, and this is schmuck of the year worthy. So I'm gonna hold myself back. I'm gonna just read what this paper says. So the final accomplishment, the State Department the final accomplishment of the State Department was, in 5 words, bringing peace, security to Syria.
I mean,
so in 2015, the State Department was able to. Did we end a war? Is that what we did?
I mean, this title is laughable.
Wait.
And it's straight up a lie.
When you told me,
I
I didn't believe you. This is a straight up lie. This is bullshit.
This
is the biggest garbage I've ever read in my life. We have 250,000 people over there already dead. Iran just shot a ballistic missile within 1,500 yards of a U.S. aircraft carrier. I mean, this region... I
mean, it's war-torn. It's not even Syria.
It's not even Syria. It's not even a country. it's laughable to call it a country at this point.
ISIS is killing people over there. You have how many countries mixed up in proxy wars? I mean,
Russia's bombing civilians on top of every other rebel group that they designate as a terrorist and that we designate as a terrorist. This is a continuous hotspot for violence and death and destruction. There is no peace. We didn't bring any security. This is...
I mean, can your life, to be honest, can anyone's life be any worse than living in Syria? Like what?
That's as bad as it gets.
Yeah,
you have no whose side are you going to take? Any side you take is you're going to have an enemy right next to you. You pick one side, the other side's going to kill you.
If you're just an innocent civilian, you could die at any moment from an airstrike. That's why there's thousands of people,
there's like millions of people like leaving.
Oh my god.
Like this is the biggest, like seriously, this is the government, the State Department of the United States, and this is what they're coming up with.
I mean, you want to like we personally, I think I speak for both of us here that the government doesn't really run things too well. This is a great
led by Secretary of State John Kerry.
Oh, God.
The United States continues to push for a political transition. And under his stewardship in December, the UN Security Council passed a U.S.-sponsored resolution that puts forward a roadmap that will facilitate a transition within Syria to a credible, inclusive, non-sectarian government that is responsive to the needs of the Syrian people. So, on paper, the United States claims to say that we're going to do this. There is nothing that has been accomplished in Syria. It's only getting worse.
There's not even a clear plan.
There's not even a Syria to bring peace to. And that is schmuck of the year worthy.
Yeah, seriously. The State Department is the schmuck of the year. So I went through and counted. Here are the things that you could actually count as accomplishments. While they are highly controversial, you can't say, yes, we got this done, instead of hosting a conference. So, one,
we set up an embassy.
Yeah, in Cuba.
They set up an embassy here. We did that.
That actually happened.
Awesome.
Winning against violent extremism, no. Protecting the Arctic climate, no.
That's another committee.
Iranian nuclear program, yes. So
we did make a deal.
Yeah, we did make a deal. So that's two. Stemming Ebola outbreak. I'm going to say no because this was like a 1-year anniversary.
That was something we did a year ago.
Yeah,
a year and a half ago.
Didn't really happen. Committing to ambitious goals, no.
That's not.
Opening the door to free trade, yes, that was signed, right?
Yeah, so that was an agreement. That was actually that has some accountability.
There's 3. Protecting the health of our ocean, no. I guess you could make the argument for the climate change agreement because they did sign it.
They did for the first time since ever.
So we'll give the government a bone here. So 4. So out of the 9, because the Syria thing, no way. We're not giving them that. So out of the 9, there's 4, and one of them's iffy, so maybe there's 3. So what if you only got 3 things accomplished in your company this year? Be a pretty shitty year.
Right? And that's the United States
State Department.
John Kerry. Flying him
all over the world.
All over the world.
So much greenhouse gases I can't even see.
I mean, this is an embarrassment.
This is pretty embarrassing that this is
this is the best work that our our State Department can do.
And our
Secretary of State, John Kerry.
I mean, it is a joke, and let's hope that 2016 we'll get a new administration in here, and
we definitely will do that. Hopefully, we can.
Whether it's Republican or Democrat, hopefully we can accomplish more.
Maybe all these committees
will pay off in 2016.
Come into fruition, and then 2016 is when they'll
pay their dividends.
Yeah, so maybe we're being too judgmental. We need to reel back the reins a little bit, take a step back, and we can recap it next year and see of all these. We'll keep these so we can see of all these things
which one panned
out. Yeah. Which one panned out, and if something panned out, we will gladly retract our statements and our ridicule. But I doubt
until
it.
That day,
I doubt it.
Yeah, no way.
Until then, I'm gonna still talk trash.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you everyone for coming. Or listening, not coming, but man, maybe you can come by, stop by the studio, see us record one day. that'd be great. We want to say,
We'll give you a free t-shirt.
Yeah, free t-shirt. Happy 2016. Hope you accomplish any goals that you set out, and hopefully they're a little more ambitious.
More than 3.
Yeah, a little more ambitious than the State Department. We're giving away another t-shirt today. This one goes out to a female listener we have in Idaho. Her name is Julie. Thanks for the 5-star rating in the comment, Julie. We'll be sending you a t-shirt in the mail.
Julie. We need some more estrogen around here anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for joining us again. I'm Andrew.
I'm Henry.
We love being American.
Peace out 2015.